Day 4 of my intuitive anatomy Reiki journey, retaking this course, sharing the journey with you over the 15 days. Sorry, that we're doing intuitive anatomy, theta healing coaching. Welcome to the video. If you've already watched the day 1, 2, and 3, then you would have a lot of information, a lot of helpful information, a lot of skills that can help you to better your life. In this video, it's going to be no different. I'm going to share with you some incredible information for free that can help you to enhance your experience of life, to release things that might be holding you back, to understand your body better, how the body speaks to us. I am very fascinated about how the body speaks, because our body's always speaking to us. And by the time that your body speaks in discomfort and dis-ease, illness, those sort of things, the body's no longer speaking gently. The body is now screaming. And for a lot of people in this world, we wait until the body screams. We ignore the whispers. Sometimes we don't even hear the whispers. You know, we say things to ourselves like, you shouldn't be so sensitive and stuff like that. You know, when the body speaks, when our intuition speaks, when our trauma speaks, when we are triggered by something, we say, oh, you shouldn't be so triggered. You shouldn't be so sensitive, you know. Just grow up, you know. Just grow up. Be a man, be a woman, be a, you know, whatever pronoun it is that you prefer, okay? But why be so unkind to yourself? You know, sometimes it's really a question of, if somebody else have to say these nasty things to you that you say to yourself, you'll probably cut them out. You'll be like, no. And day 4 in intuitive anatomy theta healing coaching, we're speaking about the digestive system. And the digestive system, it's all about your issues of love and abuse and trauma, and it's all those issues that come up, but especially abuse issues, okay? Trauma issues, your relationship with love. And even if you're in a space of hatred, that also determines your relationship with love, because it's a two polar opposites basically. Okay, so welcome to today's video. My name is Adrian Nelson. I am a proud theta healing practitioner. I am retaking the intuitive anatomy journey. Give or take a couple of days, almost a year ago, I first started this with my incredible coach Nianel, who is amazing. Okay, I have shared this in previous videos. But in order to take intuitive anatomy, you need to, at this point in time, you need to have first taken the theta healing basic, which is, again, I've said this before and I'll say it again, there is nothing basic about it. It's mind-blowing. All right? And then you do the second one, which is advanced theta healing. And then you do digging for beliefs, which is really incredible. And one of my favorites, and also one of my theta healing instructor Nianel's favorite, is You and the Creator. There's a link for Nianel in the description. Okay, she's a really, really excellent coach. She is amazing, and she really wants you to do well, which is what I love. Because with me, you know, sharing this video in my practice sessions, when I create all my other courses, you know, you can, like on Udemy and stuff like that, or in person or online, whatever they are. For me, it's always about supporting whoever is ready towards finding that foundation, building on that foundation, you know, for your life to do well, so that your personal empowerment can expand, okay, and that you can do better in your life, and you can have a enhanced sense of peace. Now, at the end of the video, I'm going to, like with the other videos, do a short guided meditation for you. If you've been listening to the first 3, or even if you're just here, I'm going to do a slightly different one for you at the end of the reading today, which is, it's so beautiful. It's so exciting. You're going to love it. 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 All right. And okay, but let's first get into this. So first of all, welcome. If it's your first time here, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome back. If you haven't yet done so, I would really appreciate you subscribing to the channel. Share this video with other people that will benefit from it. And I always welcome your comments. All right, so I'm a theta healing practitioner. I work online, I work in person. I love them both. I love connecting with people. And so let's speak about your digestion system. You're gonna come across a lot of golden nuggets in this video that may change your life for the positive forever. You know, I just want to recommend to you though that when we see, maybe when you notice one of these things in somebody else, Don't be too quick to say, hey, you've got some abuse issues going there probably. You know, just silently, just send them some love, some positive energy, some positive intention. Okay? But also know that if you spot it, you got it. Okay? Whatever is in your sphere of awareness, because we create our own reality of life. If you see it, it's there, it's in you. But now don't only go look for the bad, also go look for the good stuff. What are the beautiful things coming up in your life? Because there is also a reflection of you. All right? And I'm not saying that we should become other people's problems. It's a very important thing to ask yourself, especially when you get overwhelmed, are these my feelings or someone else? I think I spoke about that in the first video quite a bit, day one. Okay? But if you spot it, you got it. Have compassion for the other person, have compassion for yourself. And sometimes it's so easy to have compassion for others, but not for ourselves. Okay? All right. So, digestive system issues, if you have them, you will typically have quite a lot of problems. Anything with stability, your home space, your career, your finances, your relationships, you know. And a lot of times when you have those sort of things, you will also have digestion problems. Okay? Because remember, when you feel stressed, you say like, oh, I can feel it in my stomach and on my back. Oh, goodness, I don't know how much more of this I can take. And my shoulders and my chest is like I can't breathe. You know, it's such a heavy thing to deal with. I feel so overwhelmed. You know, I feel so clogged up. It's like either I can't eat, or a lot of times we overeat to try and get the emotion away. All right? And speaking about eating, this was quite an interesting point, you know, that was mentioned by my instructor, is that what is the best diet? Because if you look out there at research, it's almost like you can't eat anything. Everything is bad. You know? The best diet is a mindfulness diet. Okay? Remember that we can't really change to a great degree what's being put in our food and our drinks. But you can, you know, you can close your eyes, you ground yourself. So imagine your energy goes down into the earth, you go up to Creator's light, you download yourself with light from the Creator, and you ask Creator, bless this water, bless this food, you know. Make sure that only the best things come to me. All right. I think I mentioned in day 3's video, the previous one, but sometimes, you know, we can take supplements and vitamins and medication, and it's just not taking in the body. Because if your body believes, for example, that you're not worthy of love, you can take all the best supplements and the most expensive and critically acclaimed supplements and whatever in the world, it'll flush straight through your system. Same with food, same with nutrients, same with minerals. Okay? So, ask the Creator, show me. How can I love myself more? How can I love myself better? See where you feel things in the body. I am going to, once again, at the end of the video, on the end card, I'm going to attach that heart song for you, because that heart song is so amazing. All right? And I'll create some other similar things for you. But if you haven't yet done it, or even if you've done it, I strongly encourage you to go and have a look at it after your guided session at the end of the video. So stay till the end, okay? And if you think about it, if you look at it, a lot of times in life, the people that suffer the most are actually some of the nicest people. And it's great to be nice, but sometimes, as a defense mechanism, we have actually developed a sense of niceness so that people don't criticize us, don't judge us. It's not always the case, but sometimes it can be. All right? It's like interesting, for example, when you look at normally like series and movies and soapies and those sort of things, the villains are normally the nicest people in general in real life. You know what I mean? And I want you to know that we are God's gift to each other on this planet. You know? It's like sometimes people will say like, oh, this person thinks that they are God's gift to humanity. Yes, you are. You are. And humanity is also God's gift to you, or the Creator's gift to you. And this planet is the Creator's gift to us, so that we can experience it, so that we can be the awakened dreamers. Because this is a dream state, this is an illusion. But it's a beautiful illusion. It's created for all of us. It's quite interesting, actually. You know, it is said that when you say, I just want to leave this planet, I'm never coming back here, it really, really sucks, you're going to come back because you've got trauma here. You've got karma, basically. You've got hooks. Okay? Whereas when you fall in love with the planet, you usually graduate at the planet and then there's no need for you to come back. Isn't it amazing? It's like when we make peace with something in life, we get to have the benefits that were always available, but that were not accessible or even existing for us because we were not in alignment with it. Yes? And a lot of digestion issues. It deals with abuse. It deals with trauma that is typically stored in the abdominal area. And you will see when we get nervous, when we get afraid, when we get overwhelmed, you usually feel stomach cramps. You get diarrhea. You want to vomit. It's all digestion issues that are coming up. So it's always a good idea to ask when you are triggered. It's called triggered for a reason. What is actually triggered? What is really triggered? What is really going on here? Yes? Okay. Where does it come from? What are you having the opportunity to understand better here so that you can release it, so you can heal it, so you can let it go, so that you can do better? Remember, forgiveness is predominantly and always a journey that we do for ourselves. Because the question is one of the most profound questions that I heard in a workshop once. When people have difficulty with forgiveness, and I always share this with all of my clients, who's the one who's suffering here? You know what I mean? Because in a sense, people do things to us, but by reliving it again and holding on to it and, expecting them to be sorry or forgive us, and sometimes we even punish people by holding on to things. They may not care, but it's affecting you. Okay? So, here's something quite interesting. The teeth, they give us enzymes, which actually helps. Like if you go, I'm not going to go into all of it, but when you go through the whole digestion system and tracts and whatever, it has a strong impact on how your digestion goes. And your digestion is going to determine predominantly how your health goes. If your digestion ain't going well, it's not going to work for you. I think there's going to be problems. Okay? And a lot of problems that people often have starts with the teeth. A lot of times. Okay? So you're having something happening in your liver and your kidney or whatever, but a lot of times it comes from the teeth. Okay? Because I also want you to remember that in this modern age that we live, human beings were not designed to eat the way that we eat. Not as much as we eat or as frequently as we eat, the amounts that we eat, the stuff that we eat. We were not designed for that. And our system is adaptable, but we are still adapting beings. The world has been changing quite a lot in the last couple of years. You know what I mean? Really think about it. In the last 100 years, the world has changed phenomenally. Our bodies are still catching up. And then we've got all the stress and trauma and all sorts of things to deal with. Many of us are still feeling like slaves to the system. That's a lot to deal with. A lot of times we use food as a means to give us comfort. Because when you were a baby, you were breastfed by your mother. When you cried, maybe somebody gave you a sweet. When it was your birthday, there was a cake that was specially made for you. And if these things happened, you can relate to that. If maybe those things didn't happen to you, then what I'm saying to you might be triggering you right now. Where are you experiencing this trigger? That bit of a guided session at the end of the session can help you of this video. And also that heart song can definitely help you with that. All right? Look out for things like poor me and stuff like that, because it's an opportunity to heal. It's coming from somewhere. It's triggering something else. We are hardly upset about just what we're upset about. Okay? And sometimes when we don't know what to do, let's say, for example, you've got a toothache or something like that. Ground your energy. Take your energy up to the Creator. Download yourself with love and say, Creator, you take care of this. I don't know what to do. You take care of this in your truth and perspective, in my highest and best interest. Show me when and why and how it is possible to move beyond this, to learn the lesson peacefully, gently. Yes? And interestingly enough, when we think about enzymes, when a baby is about like in the first, very early parts of their life, their teeth are not creating the enzymes yet. So, you should be very mindful of the things that you sometimes give to babies. Just because something is on a store shelf, I think we all know this by now, just because it's on a store shelf, just because it's marketed with little babies going whoop, 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 doesn't mean that it's good for you. All right? All these generic brands, I've got a personal belief. if I look at the label and there are words that I can't pronounce, and I have to go Google them, and Google gives you this lengthy, sometimes explanation, or very little that still says nothing to me, because I mean, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a medical doctor, I'm a medical intuitive, very different thing, like a psychic. I can see into the body and I can, interesting enough, I can feel what people feel, So you come to me, I work with you in person, online, I can feel what you feel, yes? And it's what's amazing for me is that what I normally offer, I say to people, have one session, see how it goes. But if you really want to shift and change, I would say to you, book 5 sessions and you only pay for 4. And then you really get to work through layers, because we work through layers and different beliefs and things like that. And then it's amazing that every time when I connect with you, I can feel how you feel differently. It's beautiful. Okay. So, I will say go back to the more original things for babies, like maybe like pumpkin and stuff like that. Baby's got an upset stomach. Go Google, what is it that you need? What works better for this baby? What does this baby need? All right? I mean, it's the same thing almost like for dogs. You can buy your dog the best, most expensive kibble on the planet. I just know this from personal experience. But if you do adequate research and you start making food for your dog or whatever animal yourself, they're always going to do better. Then they don't have to go into life and get the stiff joints and the cancer and all those sort of things. The same counts for you. Yes? The same counts for you. A lot of us are so brainwashed we don't even have actual free thinking anymore. Okay? I want you to pay attention to how you chew and absorb your food. That is going to say to you what is your relationship with presence, how you receive love. Okay? The monks, for example, when they eat very slowly. They eat very consciously. They taste, they're aware of the texture, And then you don't overeat. All right? A big one is don't eat while you're busy doing something, while you're distracted, while you may be upset. A lot of people eat at times when they are upset because it actually makes them feel better. It nourishes the soul, it gives you energy, it makes you feel better. Don't eat while you're watching television, because you're not mindful. Then you eat a whole packet of fries and crisp chips sort of things, and you're not aware of it. Yes. It's quite interesting. You will notice that the areas in the world where there's always been plenty, people don't feel the need to eat so much. It's like, for example, people always joke. They say that, well, not the French themselves, but people like from South Africa, for example. Sorry, when you go to a French restaurant, because everything is so beautiful, but it's normally like tiny, So once you've gone out for French cuisine, then you go for food afterwards because you're still hungry, you need more. While as the French don't need that, because they've been in a world where there's always been plenty. So they don't have a limitation when it comes to food, Because remember, in our ancestors, we didn't always know when we're going to get food next. So your body would hold on to food. And you will eat as much as you can, when you can, for those fat reserves and stuff. But if you live in a first world country, normally you've moved beyond that, But then if you in other countries, and even South Africa, where I am, South Africans, they love their massive plates of food. I'm talking about traditional South Africans now, big plates of food. And you're expected to finish that plate, trust me. And they want you to 1 second. Sorry. So what I would normally do is, if I go to a very typical South African sort of meal, I will get myself a big hump of salad, so the plate looks full. And if I'm expected to have seconds, I'll make sure that there's space for seconds. I won't have like starch and stuff on the plate. Because people actually take offense if you don't take seconds, and they give you these massive plates of food, And to the degree that you can heal your patterns, I grew up poor. So, we called it going to bed silently. There were nights when we didn't eat. And so obviously that caused a lot of trauma, but then I worked through that trauma. So I don't have to have these humps of food. You know what I mean? Okay, so you can release your trauma. You can release your ancestral beliefs. A lot of us are suffering in this current space of living because we are still operating in beliefs from our ancestors, what they, maybe needed 20 million years ago. But we don't need it anymore now. Okay? We are evolutionary beings. But a lot of times we get very stuck in our old ways. And so theta healing is an opportunity to release that, so that you can be present and you can have a beautiful experience of life. All right? That is why I love theta healing so much, because, my instructor, Nia Nell, she's an amazing person. For her, it's also about, how do you serve the evolution of humanity? Vina Steibel, the founder of theta healing, it's also about how do I, support the evolution of humanity. Beautiful people. Beautiful, beautiful people, And so see, how do you digest your food? What are you having troubles with? Constipation, diarrhea, feeling nauseous after eating. All of those sort of things, pay attention to those things. Because, without food, obviously we die. We need food. We need the substance. We need some sort of feeding. Okay? So you can also, pay attention to your relationship with food. If you maybe believe that you're not worthy and deserving of anything good in life, your body will reject food. It will reject it. Okay? We also hold abuse in our colon area. Because what is the colon about? It's about letting stuff go. That no longer serves you. What are you holding on to? It's so amazing. One of the students that I met in theta healing, he had stage 4 colon cancer. Now, by the time you have stage 4 colon cancer, you're pretty much calling it tickets. But this person has done such deep healing work and belief work and let go of things in the past that he's 100% healthy now. He's been healthy for a couple of years. 100% cancer free. Most beautiful, beautiful person. But when I speak to him, he says he used to be very rigid before. Okay? Look at the past in the country where you grew up. In South Africa, there's a lot of people that have all sorts of challenges. Now, I'm not talking just about the black people. I'm talking about everybody. Our ancestors in South Africa, they had it tough. So they believed that you have to really apply yourself to survive. And I'm talking people of all races. They've really, really had it tough. And a lot of times we keep that rigidity inside of us, and then it spills over into our work and our families and all of those type of things. Yes? And a lot of times when we do this work, you can get a lot of peace and harmony in a family that's always been fighting in your workplace. Or even if you do, maybe, let's say, for example, realize that it's better for you to get divorced, it can be done in such a healthy way that it is to the benefit of all parties involved. That's the beautiful thing about it. Okay? Because the imbalance that you experience, the upheaval that you experience, the hurtful inconsistencies, the lies, whatever, it's reflecting your beliefs back to you. You change the belief, the reflection changes. Boom, boom, boom. Our molecules are always talking to each other. When you change, the other person changed. I remember back in the day when I first started to teach Reiki, it was so amazing that, and for some reason, a lot of Muslim people like to come to me for coaching, and they would be very concerned about what their families would think, or, judgment, criticism, rejection. Nobody likes that. Nobody goes like, oh yeah, let me get rejected, and, I always say to them, when you change and when you can make peace with that, so will they. And true as Bob every single time. Yes, we create our own reality. When you have a lot of fear, you project out fear. Life gives that back to you. When you work in love, life gives that back to you. Okay? Sexual issues also have a lot to do with the digestion system. And sexual issues doesn't always have to be, violent violation, so to speak. Even if you, for example, give permission to your partner to have intercourse with you, and this is the penetrating person, if you are not, for a lady, for example, or even for men that have sexual intercourse with each other, if you are not sufficiently lubricated, be it natural lubrication, be it lubrication, from a store or something like that. If you are not sufficiently lubricated, and you are not respectfully penetrated, even with your permission, even if you love this person, your body will register it as trauma. And it will react from that trauma. Yes? We spoke a lot about trauma in day 3, so you can take a look at that. Even enemas given to children. I remember that when I went to have my tonsils removed, I think I must have been about 4 or 5, they pushed the enema up my behind, and trust me, it was the most horrific experience. That's registered as trauma. Okay? It's trauma. And I actually remember when I came out of my anesthesia, now children heal a lot faster than adults, but I wanted fried chicken. And I had it, and people couldn't even understand how I was able to eat it, because I literally just had my tonsils removed, And I had a lot of trust issues going on when I was young. For example, I remember I had to get a double dose of anesthesia, because I just had trust issues, fear issues, holding on, okay? And I actually woke up under the operation. Like, there was no pain or nothing, but I remember opening my eyes and seeing these people, and everybody for some reason getting very panicked, and then I just closed my eyes again. But I wanted food. I wanted substance right away, and for me, fried chicken was like, it was the thing. So I wanted that. I want fried chicken and French fries, okay? And just speaking about French fries, it doesn't mean that you have to withhold from yourself what you need. But if you take something like French fries, for example, you want to kind of make sure, if you make it, that it's like, either you make it yourself, or when you get it from a store, that they make it like from the first oil. Because when we use plant oils for deep frying, anything really, when you heat it up and it cools down and you heat it up again, it actually causes, it's almost like a fat sort of thing, you can almost compare it to like cholesterol. Long story short, it's like margarine. It goes into your system and it stays stuck in your system. It's very, very bad for you. All right? So use oil only once. You use it second time around, it can actually become very poisonous. Very poisonous. Okay? Doesn't matter whether you put it in the fridge or the whatever, it's just a chemical reaction that starts to happen that is very bad for your body. Okay? It actually makes you gain weight. And it also impacts your mental state of being, and when there's an imbalance inside of you, there's an imbalance in the hormones, even from beliefs, and that a lot of times is what's causing this, all these mental issues that a lot of us are having. Okay. Let me just see. Even eating in front of the phone, like, scrolling in your phone and stuff like that, be mindful of that. The best diet is to love yourself. Okay? If your mind isn't free, there's no point in losing weight. It's like, for example, I always recommend to people, when you say, I want to lose weight, first of all, the weight is gone. So literally, that's what your mind is saying. The weight is gone. I need to go look for it. So my suggestion to my clients, to my people in general, is always like, let's focus on becoming healthier. For example, if you starve yourself, you don't eat, all of a sudden your body goes into famine. Because we have been taught from our ancestral times, in our pathology, and remember, your consciousness just goes on. It doesn't know that you're not your ancestor. That is why it's so important you do this session, so you are placed in the here and the now, where you actually are. So you don't come from beliefs thousands and millions of years ago, even billions. Okay? So when we go on these diets, our body goes into stress, and everybody's always so excited because you lose like these, 7-8 pounds, 3.5, 4, 5 kilograms in the beginning of a diet, and then nothing happens after that. That's basically just water. Okay, but it's more of a stress response more often, a survival instinct that kicks in because the body goes under pressure. And then when we start to release fat, which is way lighter than water, we often don't see any fluctuation in weight. But your body goes under stress, and that's a lot of times when it comes to binge eating. Then people, they go on this diet, and it's like, and it's like they're possessed by this food, because your body it believes that it's starting to die. you know. But when you take a healthy approach, balanced eating, diet, exercise, healthy diet, I mean balanced diet, exercise, what is good for my body, what is best for my mind, for my emotions, then you can grow stronger or thinner or whatever in a way that makes you feel energized and positive, and you can have a good outlook on life. And you pay attention to the issues that are coming up as you're releasing, because let's say if I was at this weight that I am now, yeah, and I pick up something traumatic happens to me, my body registers that. Now I pick up some weight and I keep that weight for a couple of years, and then I start to lose weight and I get back to this weight again. This memory that was locked in the cells, when we get to this weight again, it's unlocked. Now you get all sorts of emotions coming out. That's why I always, I really have a passion for working with people who want to lose weight and get healthy and strong and stuff like that, because a lot of your issues come up, and it can be the most healing journey. Because here's the thing, if you don't believe that you are good enough and attractive enough and all of that sort of stuff, no matter how much weight you lose, no matter how much muscle you gain, no matter how much plastic surgery you have, you're never going to feel whole and complete. Because those things that you do are driven by that sense of not being good enough. Yeah? But if you can work together, it can be such a beautiful thing for you. All right? Sometimes we eat when we are angry. That now our body begins to associate food, nutrition, with anger. Do you know what I mean? Okay. Your stomach is affected by emotions. And also when you are angry, when you eat, your body doesn't properly digest the food. Okay. And it believes, the body sees anger as also as famine. You're not safe. So it will actually put on more weight because it believes that you are not safe. That is why a lot of times when we deal with emotional issues, unresolved issues, you gain weight and you can't lose the weight even if you live off green leaves. Because your body believes that you are under pressure, you're in famine. So it's not going to let the weight go because it thinks you're going to die. It's trying to keep you alive. Okay? But when we speak to our system, it's different. You're like, thank you so much. Instead of saying, ugh, look at me, I'm so bloated, I'm so disgusted. Ugh. Ew. Look at me, fat, ugly pig. Your body hears you. It hears you. Those trillions of atoms that you consist of that have consciousness, they hear you and they act accordingly. And if you hate your body long enough, you are basically contributing to your own dying. That's how we get cancers and stuff. Because the body understands that you want to self-destruct mode activated. That's why it's called self-destructive. When we need to speak up for ourselves sometimes. How are you dealing with conflict? How are you dealing with putting your point across? Pay attention to it. It is telling you something about your beliefs. It is an opportunity to heal, not to tell your system to shut up. Okay? In general, it's really recommended that you go for an alkaline diet. Now, of course, you have to, if it's necessary, work with your medical practitioner, trained professional, nutritionist, all that sort of thing. Okay? But remember that a happy cell can't get sick. And if your goal for doing this work is just to not get the flu that puts you out of commission every little bit, every now and then, every year, that's a benefit, ain't it? Yeah. Then maybe your people, your family might not be able to get there yet, but at least you don't have to be sick together. You can then take care of them. You know what I mean? If you have poor bowel movements, so you're not so regular, there's something going on here. It's like, again, when you have a dog, when you have a cat, you're going to go look at their poo. You have a baby, you look at their poo, because the poo is going to tell you what's most likely going on. And if you go to the pediatrician, you go to the vet, they're going to ask you, when is the last time this animal pooed? Has their bowel movements changed? Have you changed the diet? What is it like? How long has it been going for? What is the color? How does it smell? So when you have your poo and it goes like, oh my goodness, ooh. Now, of course, poo does have a smell in general. But when it smells like, the worst thing on the planet, something's going on there. You want to look at that, at your diet, at your mindset, that sort of stuff. All right? Are you giving your body sufficient time to digest your food? If you have this big meal, watching TV, whatever, before you go sleep, your body can't rest. Your hormones go out of balance because now it has to digest this food. All right? abuse, it's going to definitely affect your health. Trauma, physically, mentally, emotion, doesn't just have to be sexual abuse. And also remember with your abuse, as we said in yesterday's video, day 3, it is subject to an individual. Don't compare your abuse to other people. One person, and let me just use a big example here, one person may have been gang raped several times. And then maybe you were just slapped on your behind once by somebody else. Your trauma can be bigger than this. So don't compare. Okay? Also to let you know that a lot of times, and this is often where we get into codependent, toxic things, when we experience something several times, because our brain has to keep us safe, you begin to feel that maybe it's not so important. Am I not just overreacting here? Maybe it's not such a bad thing. When you start having those thoughts, that's when you really want to start paying attention. Because that is when we are beginning to pretty much mitigate ourselves into or within sort of the continuation of what we know is not good for us. When you need to have that conversation with yourself, that justifying conversation that makes such logical sense, just the fact that you need to have the conversation with yourself already lets you know that there is an imbalance happening here. Okay? You don't need anybody else to say for you, listen, you are allowed to feel this way. You're allowed to feel whichever way you feel. It's your feelings, it's your life. Okay? Take responsibility for it. Do the healing. Okay? When we don't feel safe and secure, you will gain abdominal weight. We hold a lot of emotions in the abdominal area. All right? A lot of times you will see that older men, even younger, but older men especially sometimes, they will start to get the abdominal weight because they sometimes went through a whole life of pressure. I have to do this. This is what a man is supposed to do. Am I a man? Am I this? Am I that? And of course, when it comes to men, they do all the other sort of comparisons often, themselves to others and, that sort of things. Puts a lot of pressure on you to be a man. This is what a man does. I'm such a man. And also, something to also know that a man and a woman's body is put together differently. Men, in actual fact, they actually, I just have to go look that up for you. I'm going to tell you now. Okay? Just hold me a second. All right, let's get some new notes. There's something that I wanted to check for you. I just wanted to make sure. Let me just see. Okay, so women typically have about 30% more body fat than men. But the ladies, they store it in the breast area, in the hip area, and it's not a coincidence. It's not because God doesn't like women, for example. It's all sort of with a reproduction system that, during the hips and stuff, when the woman is pregnant, for the baby, for the fetus, the body is designed to keep us safe and to serve us. Okay? Another one that I want to look at when it comes to nutrition is pornography. Pornography is one of the most toxic things that you can open yourself to. Because first of all, what you focus on becomes your experience of life. And a lot of times people watch pornography because they are lonely, because they are feeling unfulfilled. So it's already driven by a negative force. Okay? There is a lot of negativity in the actual pornography industry. You pick up on that when you watch a screen. Okay? And now you spend hours and hours scrolling through stuff, looking at stuff, looking for some sort of stimulation for the mind, and especially when that stimulation goes as far as masturbation. So now you're living this fantasy in your mind, but you don't really have that human connection, that cuddling afterwards. So you actually end up feeling worse. It sort of drains your energy, really. All right, that's something to look at. What are you really looking for? Okay, what are you really looking for? Okay. Normally when people have such issues, I do this beautiful practice. You can see it in the ThetaHealing playlist on my YouTube channel called Baby in the Womb, which is a beautiful one. Okay. And also just to let you know, if you're having, abdominal discomfort and things like that, in the right part, in the right lower part of the abdominal, we usually hold sexual abuse memory. Now, holding sexual abuse memories doesn't even mean that you yourself were sexually abused. It could be that your mother or even your great-grandmother or great-grandfather has been abused. But remember, you carry the memory in your pathology. You know, a lot of times brainwashing through traditions and, daily practices and religions, they can really toxify your mind. Okay? Humans are the only creatures on this planet that actually subject ourselves to ritual abuse quite constantly. Think about it, So the lower right side, sexual abuse, the lower left side, emotional abuse. Very interesting. Okay. And so just a couple of things that I'm going to run through. Some of these things I already went through. But the solar plexus chakra energy, which is all about our willpower, it's blocked by shame. Then you feel no power, no drive. All right? The liver holds anger, old anger, The spleen holds fear and guilt, and it's blocked by fear and guilt. It holds that memory there. Okay? Psoriasis, for example, which is a liver disease. If you're having that, you'll anger very quickly. Very quickly. Now, the medical, field tells us that when you have psoriasis, it's a chronic liver damage, that can't be reversed and stuff like that. Anything can be reversed. Impossible doesn't exist. Impossible, as, what is it, ladies? Now, Adrian said, the word itself says, I'm possible. That's what impossible says, And remember, you create stem cells in your body every single day that are neutral, so they can be programmed to do something else. If you can, like that example that I told you about my friend and my fellow Theta Healing practitioner, who had stage 4 colon cancer, if he could be healed, then you can be healed. Because we all made from the same stuff, You might even notice when if you work with clients in whatever capacity you work, or even yourself, you notice with someone else, again, don't go and call people out, but you will notice a lot of times when people have abuse or they do abuse work or they talk about things, they will rub the abdominal area because that's where we hold abuse. Okay? It essentially comes down to nurturing issues and how do you feel about nurturing issues, obviously in relation with abuse, trauma, love, all those sort of things. Okay? Even when you feel unappreciated, your body begins to die. All right? Here's something quite interesting, actually. If your liver's healthy, if you have a cup of coffee before you go to sleep, if your liver's healthy, the coffee is going to put you to sleep. If your liver's not healthy, your coffee is going to wake you up. Okay? You want to be careful with overdoing coffee, but, if we do too much coffee, we can actually become forgetful because we overstimulate the system. And also it can be a diuretic, which can sometimes cause our body to not take on nutrition and stuff. But also with coffee, that if you don't take coffee for a while and you one day do take coffee, it might actually sharpen your focus and your ability to remember. Okay, or recall information. Interestingly enough, highly intuitive people, especially as children, they tend to have very heavy emotions. They pick up everybody's emotions. They don't have the discernment yet. They tend to have a lot of sort of bowel syndrome things going on. Okay? And a good question, again, to always ask is, this energy that I'm feeling, is it my energy or your energy, someone else's? We quickly begin to feel when it's ours or not. When it's somebody else's, you usually feel this big dump in energy. Where it's yours, it's more gradual. Okay? And you can also, I just choose to honor my own energy, that person's energy, creator, you take care of it. Okay. Digestive system cancers is normally the throat, the esophagus, the stomach, the intestinal sort of parts, colon. Those are all digestive issues. Okay. Cancer in general is usually a lack of love. Not feeling worthy, deserving enough, not wanting to love. Cayenne pepper is actually very good for varicose veins as well as digestion, but you don't want to overdo it. And don't take it if you have acid reflux problems. It's a good idea to always go and research before you take something. Okay? Because what can work great for another person doesn't work so well for someone else. Okay? And sorry, I just want to go back. This is what I wanted to check for you. So on average, men, not women, men have 30% more body fat. So just want to clarify that. And here's the thing about going on a diet. Sometimes it's actually like you're volunteering for famine. Okay? What is the expectation of your mind when it comes to food? I think I'm going to hold it there because there's quite a bit of information already. And I just want to do that guided meditation for you quickly. So I want you to in space where it's just safe for you to relax and to ease down. Your neck and back is supported. And doing a bit of that different guided session with you. So what I want you to do is I want you to just stretch up, take a breath, stretch up. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, and release with a sigh. Coming into the body. Keep your eyes closed, take a nice deep breath in. And as you release the breath, allow your consciousness to ease down into the earth, all the way down into the center of the earth, into Mother Gaia, to connect with the heartbeat of the earth, and to align your heartbeat with the heartbeat of the earth. Slowing down, and slowing down. Now I want you to take a nice gentle breath. And as you release the breath, allow that consciousness to, draw it from the earth into your heart. And to expand it from your heart and let that beautiful feeling, that connection, expand to your whole body, every part of your being, every muscle, every molecule, every cell, every emotion, the parts that you know, the parts that you don't know, every thought in your skin, the energy around you. And let it expand and fill the room around you and even move through the walls. Just consciousness expanding, becoming aware of your connection to all, no separation. Remembering to breathe, let the breath take you there. And allowing that consciousness to expand beyond the space in which you are, into the continent or the planet or like the island or wherever you are, into the earth. Into Mother Gaia itself. You are within the earth and the earth is within you. Notice that beautiful connection, that alignment between your heart and Mother Gaia's heart. Just consciousness expanding. No separation. One in part with it all. In truth, you are not going anywhere. You are simply becoming aware of how you already are everywhere. Nice gentle breath, and as you release that breath, allow the consciousness to keep on expanding, to experience yourself as one in part with the life in the deepest parts of the oceans and the roots of the trees and the plants and the animals walking the earth and the birds flying in the sky. Take that consciousness beyond our planet, through the ozone layer, into the universe itself. Experiencing what it feels like to experience yourself as one in part with the planets and the moon and the sun and the stars and the comets and the vast open spaces. Just consciousness expanding, no separation. Let the breath take you there. Gentle breath. You're just aware of the breathing. Nice deep breath in and release that breath and allow your consciousness to expand beyond the universe into many vibrant different layers of light. Bright layers and dark layers, bright layers and dark layers, bright layers and dark layers, into a beautiful golden space. Beyond that, into a jelly-like substance, which are the laws of the universe. You move through this almost like you're moving through water. Into a beautiful pink mist that is the law of compassion that takes you into a beautiful white space, a tingly white space of pure love and unconditional acceptance, which is the space of the creator of all that is. Allow yourself to just feel what it's like to be one in part with it all. No separation. Allow the creator to show you how everything in life just comes and goes. Days, instances, experiences, weeks, months, years, lifetimes, all just comes and goes. The only constant is the creator, and you are connected to the creator. You are one in part with the creator. So you are eternal, you are forever. You are eternally loved and supported, and breathe it in. And as you release the breath, experience yourself taking it on through your body, through your crown, your beautiful part on top of your head, your gateway to the connection to the creator of all that is, and for every part of your being. And in this space, I'm going to make a command, and I'm first going to say to you what it is, and if you agree, you can out loud say yes to it. You ask Creator to balance your body, to balance your emotions, to balance every part of your being, to give you any and all instant healings and balances that are available right now for your highest and best interest in the truth and perspective of the Creator, so that your life can get better and better all the time, and for the Creator to show you when and why and how it is possible and how you already are living your best life. And you can tell me if this resonates with you, you can just out loud say, yes, we want all of consciousness to hear. And if you say, yes, I make the command, Creator of all that it is commanded or requested, in your truth and perspective, in the highest and best interest of my cosmic sibling listening here, to download for them this beliefs, this feeling, to balance their system, their mind, their emotions, their body, their skeletal systems, their survival instinct, their problem resolution, their ego, their fear, their love, to balance all of who they are, their digestive system, the body, their relationship with themselves, their thoughts, their food, with you, Creator. Across all languages, all possibilities, all dimensions, all belief levels, core genetic history and soul. Thank you. It is done, it is done, it is done. Show me with love. I want you to imagine standing on the edge of the universe with the Creator, looking down at your life in a ball of light, and seeing, witnessing, experiencing, imagining from the purest part of Creator's light, this energy coming down into your being for your highest and best interest. And that it can continue to happen in ways that only serve your best interest. Now I want you to take your breath and your consciousness up to the Creator, out of this paradigm, and I want you to imagine in this beautiful space, this light space of the Creator, where you are unconditionally accepted and loved. You are standing on a pool edge of light, and the Creator gives you a reassuring shake of the head. Yes, you can do it. And you go through this pool of light to cleanse and clear and wash away gently, lovingly, easily, effortlessly that which no longer serves your highest good. So you can come out on the other side refreshed, revived, energized, transformed, ready to live your greatest experience of life for your highest and best interest. Breathe it in. And as you release the breath, let it flow in through the top of your head, through your body, into the earth, to make an agreement, a pact with the earth, to help you and to support you for right synchronicities and miracles, and meeting the right people and being at the right place in the right time, and learning and knowing, understanding what you need to for your benefit. Draw that energy from the earth. Use your breath to pull it into your body, to energize your body. I want you to feel completely energized in your body, present, knowing who you are, where you are. Feeling like you had the right amount of sleep. Body's completely energized and balanced. No negative side effects. Okay? No unnecessary pressure. Everything is gentle and kind. Beautiful, gentle integration. Balance and center that energy in your heart. And when you're ready, you open your eyes. And let me know in the comments how you feel. And write down in the comments, I claim my beautiful, balanced abundance now. I claim my beautiful, balanced abundance now. It's so powerful when we write something down. Yes? I look forward to sharing the rest of this beautiful journey with you. If you haven't yet seen the first 3 days, go and look at that video. It can help you so much for your life to get better and better all the time. If you want to book a personal reading, be it just one session, be it a package. Oh yes, with the package. So if you're not sure if you want to buy the 5 sessions where you pay for 4, have one. See how that one is for you. If you like that one, you can still buy into the package. We just subtract what you already paid. No worries. Okay. I look forward to connecting in your next video, and I look forward to your comments.